Hello everyone, welcome back to Polygonal Perspective. My name is Serge. I'm joined once again by Ian.
Hello.
Ian, it's time. It's the season, the reason for the season, and the reason is actually I don't know where I'm going with this. It's Halloween. It's a bit late for us, but better late than never. Um,
It's not quite Halloween, but
yeah,
we just needed an excuse to play some horror games, right? Spooky games.
yes, and we even have a festive background this time. What's your favorite? Actually, what's your favorite holiday / time of year? I think for me, it's probably be winter, Christmas, New Year's, then autumn, then probably summer, and then spring, I guess.
I like spring the most because you've got the summer to look forward to, but it's not too hot yet. The days are getting longer. You get some holidays around that time. I mean, I still associate it with school and the semester coming to a close. I don't know. I think it's just a nice time of year, and it's not too extreme. You know, the autumn, the fall that we're in right now is also kind of mild and nice, but the days are way too short.
Yeah, I guess spring. Does it have any major holidays or like events?
Easter?
Yeah, I guess Easter. Yeah, I think still my favorite is definitely like the New Year's, Christmas. That's like the best time. Getting there soon.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the solstice. I'm waiting for the days to start getting longer.
We've been I'm gonna do a bit of a format change for the show. Last podcast was ended up being 4 hours and 15 minutes. It wasn't the longest. I think the longest was the anthem episode. That one was like 4.5 hours. But in an attempt to kind of make it more lean and digestible, we're gonna make slight changes. We're gonna have one section at the start, which is this one, where we talk about what's new with us and what's new in the industry as well. You can just kind of put it in one section, and then we'll be taking a break. Then we'll have the gameplay for the first game, and then obviously the gameplay for the second game. And the gameplay as well section, we used to do a solid hour for each game. We're going to change that to around 45 minutes, maybe sometimes less, maybe sometimes more. And also the first section would usually take us around half an hour to 45 minutes. Right, then what's new with us? So we went to EGX recently. I had a chance to meet Rebellion fans, spoke with some students about careers, reviewed some CVs and portfolios. It was a good time. I didn't get a chance to see a lot of panels or new games, but you've had a chance to look at quite a few see quite a few games, didn't you?
Yeah, see, my trick is I went to EGX, but I didn't represent Rebellion. So Serge did the dutiful job and worked the booth, and I just went as a regular person. So I was totally free. So I was there for just the one day, but this was my first EGX. I never really I've been to these kinds of game events before, so I'd always wanted to attend these kinds of things, attend talks, meet some of the people in the industry, see what other fans get to see with these things. So I got to check out a ton of different games and walk around and attend some talks and stuff. I pretty much got to do everything I wanted to, which was really nice.
Nice.
I would say the highlight of it was I mentioned to you, Serge, that I got to play the new Cosmic Smash in VR. It's a licensed game based on an old Sega property that is kind of like the last game I would expect to get a sequel, but it's got a sequel in VR, and I don't have a VR headset yet, so this is my first chance to try the game. So I got to play it a bit, just for a few minutes, but I got to have a nice chat with one of the assistant producers on it as well, which is cool.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that at all, so I might check it out when it's out. Have you played the original then?
Yeah, I have it for my Dreamcast.
Nice. And then I think you also one of the highlights was that indie fighting game, wasn't? I did see that as well. That looked pretty nice.
Yeah. So there's One Strike was a fighting game that I actually owned, and I only played a little bit of, and then I just so happened to play Two Strike there, and I got to chat with the developer of the game. It was really nice to pick his brain because one of my bucket list career things is I'd love to make a fighting game someday. So I got to chat with this guy for quite a bit actually, and ask him how, what the process was like for him making a fighting game. And he had done a lot of the art himself and all the code himself and things like that. So that was really cool.
Did he talk about what engine he's using?
He's using Unity.
Okay. Well, hopefully it will turn out good for him, considering all the Unity stuff that's happening recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So apart from that, I've been playing, and actually I finished Titanfall 2. We talked about this game when we were discussing Modern Warfare, and you mentioned that it was done by, what was it, the same team that did Modern Warfare 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Infinity Ward, which the people who led COD 4, a lot of them went off to found Respawn. So Infinity Ward's still going today making Call of Duty games, but Respawn is where most of the old Call of Duty developers have gone. And they also made Jedi Knight, which is one of your favorite games as well.
Yes, that is good. And I've heard that this game was good. After we talked about it, I just decided, you know what, it's about time to kind of play it. And actually, having played Modern Warfare in the podcast last time, I had this unique perspective, because I guess when Modern Warfare 1 came out, that was years and years before this game. So playing them both almost at the same time, it highlighted how similar those games are. So some of the stuff I did like a lot. There's a good split between pilot and robot gameplay. I really liked some of the levels where you had to kind of like either save BT, that's your robot, or he'll be helping you. I really like how when you get out of the robot, he actually has its own AI and he shoots enemies. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't play in that much, but when it does happen, it's pretty cool. The animations are really nice in general, and especially for the robot. It looks like really rusty and kind of like battle worn, I guess. Just the design of the robots is really nice. Reminds me of if Half-Life 2 had robots, they would probably look like that. And it's funny because the engine they used is for Source, right?
Yeah, very heavily modified Source. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell looking at it, but I think actually the Call of Duty games to this day, they're still, I don't know if they still are, but at least Modern Warfare was based on the Quake 3 engine. I want to say they licensed it out just like Valve licensed out the Quake 1 engine for the Half-Life games. So there actually is some, I think Source makes sense in that it's probably closer to what the developers had already been using than switching over to something like Unreal Engine.
Just the general interaction between the pilot and the BT, the robot, it was actually more than I thought they would have. Like there's even multiple choice conversation options, which is funny because again, like it's a game very much like Modern Warfare, where it's the main aim is to keep moving you forward. So it was really refreshing to see that you can actually interact with BT more than just being a silent protagonist. In fact, for a while I thought the main person, the main character, was a silent protagonist, but he wasn't. He was actually he had lines, and for the most part those lines were him talking to BT and interacting with him like that. Another thing I really liked was the just the traversal stuff in that game.
The movement in general just feels good. The sliding.
Yeah, the sliding. Obviously the gunplay is very much like Modern Warfare. You don't because the game keeps pushing you forward. It's not really, that game is not really about having hubs or intermissions or progression screens or anything like that. Sometimes to a fault maybe, but there was definitely a conscious decision by those guys to kind of not have that. It kind of had like a bit of a even like like a Japanese almost like an anime flavor, where characters had each boss had an intro, and then you would fight them, right? He had a really good boss fights, which I didn't expect, because Modern Warfare didn't really kind of have that. Modern Warfare's idea of boss fight is like a bunch of waves of enemies, and then you're done. But here it's like it's very deliberate. They had named characters, they had their own kind of specialized mechs, and they had like a mini intro, and then you fight them, and because of that, it's really memorable. Like I remember most of the fights; they were pretty unique, and again, I did not expect it from that kind of game, which I really enjoyed. Some of the stuff I didn't enjoy, you kind of get the story by the end of it, but it's really kind of hard to follow it at first. Things happen without your input for quite some time until kind of things get going. And once they do, I guess you kind of it's fine, but it can take a while for the story to build up. I think they didn't really spend that much time world building. I guess again, it wasn't really that much of a concern for them. There's a conflict that is, you know, these two generic sides kind of fighting, but I guess it wasn't that interesting. I think I cared a lot more about the relationship between the pilot and the BT than anything else that was happening in the story. And the good thing about that is that it pays off. The story becomes a bit more about them than anything else. I'm not gonna spoil how it ends, but it's pretty cool. I think there were a bit too many weapons that were kind of samey. There's a lot of weapons. Again, there's no weapon progression or upgrades, but you just pick them up on the ground and you use them. And there's so many different ones that some of them kind of just blend into one into another. There's too many rifles. They kind of feel and look the same. They look cool individually, but then as you keep playing, sometimes I would have like a one rifle, then I keep finding another one, and then third one. I keep picking them up, but they kind of feel the same. So I was like, why am I even bothering? I think I ended up I was using this weapon that enemy robots drop. They're kind of like drones, and they drop this like really nice weapon that just destroys people, just like disintegrates them. That and a sniper rifle. That was also cool. I think there's a one level that I think you got to that as well. Just to know that Ian hasn't actually finished the game. I think you got to the time travel level, right?
Yeah, that's I lost my save around that point.
Yeah. So that level, it was really unexpected because it's about, I would say, 2/3 into the game, a good 2/3, and it introduces a really cool mechanic of this. It's time travel technically, but the way it manifests in the game is that you activate this wrist thing and you immediately shift into the past, but in the same spot. They use it really cleverly. They present these traversal challenges. Let's say there's like a wall that collapses in front of you. If you switch to the past, suddenly that wall is not there. It's not collapsed, so you can just go through. And in the past, there's enemies, and they see you in the past, but then you can go. Let's say there's a bunch of enemies in front of you. They're like, oh, who's that? And they start shooting you. Then you activate this device. You go into the future. You walk around them to the back, and they activate it again. And then suddenly you're at their back, and then you can just shoot them easily. So that coupled with traversal bits where you can avoid certain obstacles or like fire by using that device as well, makes that level really nice. And it's funny how they also comment the enemies and NPCs like, oh, how is he moving like that? Why is he behind us now? This is crazy. It was really nice, and I thought they were going to use this mechanic from now on, but that was the only level in the entire game where they use it. And for me as a developer, it's like, wow, it takes balls to have this really advanced mechanic and just have it for one level, right? Do you think they just wanted to kind of maybe show off a bit, or do they think maybe, you know what, if we use this for the rest of the game, it would be way too expensive?
So I wonder if it's just how they approach development at Respawn, because there is, I'm not going to say similar, but there is a level in COD 4 all gillied up, and it is a stealth focused level. It's the one level in the entire single player campaign that is completely stealth driven, and you have to sort of time your shots along with someone else that is going through the levels with you with your sniper rifle. And if you get caught, it's basically game over. And from what I understand, the way they did that level was one level designer went absolutely wild with the scripting language, and he just worked his absolute butt off and had this really bespoke system that didn't work anywhere else in the game, but it was his level, so he got it working in that level. And I have to wonder if it was a similar thing with Titanfall 2, if it was a level designer that owned that feature rather than a systems designer. And for their level, they built their level around this mechanic that they scripted.
Maybe. I mean, obviously that mechanic is heavily level design based because it involves having two versions of the same space, and then you kind of shift between those. So I can see that, but you can also see how that can then be applied to any level, really, right?
Yeah.
Just having two different versions, one with some things and one without them. And I can see how you probably shouldn't build the entire game unless that's the game. But they could have, I actually expected not all levels, but maybe like half of them be that, maybe. it just felt like a major mechanic, right? Because, for example, when they introduced the wall run and jump pretty early on, and then they use it throughout, that is a mechanic you get introduced early on, and then you just use it all the way till the end of the game. It's almost like if they introduced the robots somewhere in the middle, they use it for one level, and then you're back into being a pilot all the time. I don't know. It was a bit jarring. It definitely surprised me that was the only level, considering it was actually pretty good as well. Really good game. Enjoyed it. The stories, again, like I mentioned, it's serviceable. It's fun. It's kind of like, bombastic at the end and just does the job. It has a moment, character moment with Pilot and BT. One of the things I really enjoyed about them together is the whole throwing the pilot. It's really interesting. Like, the animations are great, and the robot grabs him and then just throws you where you need to land, and it's really fun. And I think at the end there's a really epic moment with that. They knew that the players would enjoy that, and it was definitely fun moments.
Now you got to play the multiplayer.
Yeah, so multiplayer, I wanted to try it, and it was just not working. It was just not connected to the servers. I know that they recently patched it, or actually had an update, so it's supposed to be working, and I'm gonna try and fix it to try that out. But yeah, I'm gonna try the multiplayer, and it's actually I'm really surprised that they haven't made a third game. It's kind of criminal, and honestly, I really hope that they're gonna make that. I don't know what they need to do. Leapfrog the single player team, hire more people, get EA to like put more money into this, because there's a lot more story to tell here, I think, and it should have happened by now.
I think we'll see a Titanfall 3 before long. I think there's too many people who want it to happen, and it's not like Titanfall 2 did poorly or anything.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? And at the end of the game, they definitely, I'm not gonna say it's a cliffhanger, but it's the type of world and story where it's so global. Like, it's space is involved, so they can just make any kind of story in this world. Obviously, the Apex Legends is in that same world, right? So I'm sure they have enough lore to make something new. All right, that was my time with Titanfall 2. Ian, what's up? What's new with you?
The one game that I've been able to take some time to play has been Fatal Frame 4.
Oh,
what is the subtitle? Something of the
Mask of the Lunar Eclipse.
Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. That's right. I was going to say something about Dark Moon, but that's a that's a Luigi's Mansion game. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Yes, so I've been playing this actually on my Nintendo Switch. Have you played any of the Fatal Frame games, Serge?
Not at all. They're on my radar, but I haven't had a chance to play them at all, and I want to play them. Actually, this is the fourth game, isn't it?
Yes.
Have you played the other ones?
So I played through the first Fatal Frame quite a while ago. There are 5 mainline entries in the series so far. And I know a lot of people really like 2, and a lot of people really like 4. So I played through the first one, and I thought it was okay. It didn't quite click with me the way I'd hoped it would, but I know that everyone liked 4, 4 and 2. And I know it's been probably like 5 years or so since I played the first one. But 2 and 3, the first 3 games are on PS2, and mechanically they play somewhat similarly. But 4, this game was originally released on the Wii, and it was originally only released in Japan. So this is actually a really recent port or remaster of the game in English for modern platforms.
Is it on PC as well?
Is it? I think it is. Yeah. So I wanted to try this out. I wanted to see if it felt any different, because this one isn't just developed by Tecmo. It's also co-developed by Grasshopper manufacturer and Studio 51.
Nice. Oh, actually, that's unexpected.
Yeah. Now, playing it, I'm not sure that you can feel that it's like a pseudo game. I understand he was involved in the writing, and the team helped out with art and code and things like that. But it was a co-developed. I mean, it was sort of a for-hire job for them. But I know that, I've heard that as you get further in, that it starts to feel just a bit more distinct than the other games, or different from the other games. And so far, I'm about 2 or 3 hours in, really not that far. but I am quite enjoying it. They have changed a decent amount of things from the first one. I mean, firstly, it's an over-the-shoulder camera, sort of like Resident Evil 4, though it still goes into first person.
Was the first game first person exclusively?
No, so it's more like I don't think it's tank controls. It's more like the first Devil May Cry, where it's a full 3D environment with full 3D controls, but the camera angles are fixed and they pan around. Something like, yeah, I guess something like the early Silent Hill games as well. It's like that. So this is a slightly more claustrophobic camera.
So what's the selling point of this series? I know that there's some sort of photography mechanic.
Yeah. So the big selling point is that you press a button to go into first person mode, and you have a camera a bit like a game like Dead Rising, and you need to take photos of the ghosts to attack them. So the clearer the photo is, the more you can charge up your shot, the more damage that it will deal to the ghost. So it's, I mean, I will say it works quite well. It's quite tense. It's claustrophobic. You have to charge up the shots. I mean, most games where you have weapons, you don't need to charge up your attacks. But in this game, having to charge up your shots or waiting to reload some film in, or just waiting for the cooldown between your shots while the ghost gets closer to you, can be tense.
I might be way off, but I think one of them, which one, the one that was on Wii U, actually used the Wii U's
gamepad, yeah,
gamepad to kind of like almost use it like a camera. You would use it, hold it like and move it around to find the ghost, and then when you find it, you take the picture. Is that this game, or is that the other one? It's like a 3 or something.
Yeah, so that's Fatal Frame 5, which they actually just also ported that one to modern platforms. So I'm not sure how they reconcile the controller difference, but here I will say it doesn't really feel like how to put this, like they translated it better than I think some other Wii games have. Basically, I think in the original you would use the pointer to move the camera around, and now you have, at least on the Switch, you have the option of the right analog stick or gyro controls, which would basically be how the Wiimote was controlled anyway.
Well, that was going to be my next question, if this game had any sort of unique hardware controls or features, and I guess that was the one, and it sounds like they managed to just translate that.
But for me, I would say more than the camera, the big selling point is the atmosphere. So it's a distinctly J-horror kind of game. You're going through a creepy old abandoned hospital for mental patients, and it's just a different kind of atmosphere than what you get in Resident Evil, or even, I mean, it's closer to something like Silent Hill, but it's definitely more like a found footage kind of J-horror thing. Of course, all the dialogue is in Japanese.
I will say this: unfortunately, I find J-horror to be extremely unfrightening. I can never be frightened by, like, ladies in white robes with long hair kind of things, and I feel like every single time there's a J-horror thing, would be a movie or a game, they just go for that. It's never like, you mentioned Silent Hill. I would not kind of put Silent Hill as a J-horror at all. It's more, a lot more, first of all, a lot more scary, because all the body horror and all of that stuff.
But it's a very quiet, well, it's a very quiet haha kind of horror. It's not as in your face like Resident Evil. It doesn't feel as like inspired by Western movies. It's a Western setting.
Yeah.
But there is something very Japanese to me about Silent Hill games.
Yeah.
Fatal Frame, yeah, it's definitely more overt. I will say, I don't play these games to get terrified. I play these games, I mean, it's just a good oppressive atmosphere that is subtle in its own ways. A cool thing as well is that the ghosts aren't always aggressive. So oftentimes you'll see a ghost and you'll have just a few seconds to snap a photo of them, which can earn you points for various upgrades and things like that. So you don't know if you're going to see a ghost. I mean, you might see a ghost and it'll be passive at first, and then the second time you see it, it'll attack you, because ghosts don't really have a logic to them. So the game plays with that.
Right, yeah. It does sound like getting into the atmosphere and the setting was probably going to be the way to go with this type of game.
Sure.
Just looking at the footage, it's you have a flashlight and
Beautiful game for the Wii. I know this is a remaster. I don't know how much they touched the art, but I've even seen footage of the Wii version. It looks crazy good.
yeah.
One of my favorite little things that they do right at the beginning of the game is when you pick things up, when you pick up items, you have to hold the button down to pick it up, and then there's an animation of your character slowly reaching their hand out to pick up the item. And there's a mechanic. One of the first times that you have to pick something up, a ghost hand grabs you and deals damage to you. And then the game says, watch out, from now on, when you pick stuff up, there's a chance that a ghost is going to grab your hand. And you need to be ready to let go of the pickup button. And so I kept that in mind. And I will say that for the next like hour and a half, 2 hours, not a single time did a ghost reach out for me. But it had the right effect, because every time I was picking up an item, I was consciously thinking about it and thinking, is this going to be that time?
Yeah, I like that. Actually, that's the one. That's the thing that would do it for me to build tension. Like that's the thing that would make me forget that I'm playing J horror and make me like focus on that and kind of build up that tension that I would be looking for in a horror game. That's a really cool way to do that, and cool mechanic, I guess.
Yeah. So I have not. I don't know how long the game is actually. I don't know if I'm halfway through or what. I think I've still got a ways to go, but I'm going to keep trudging through with it.
So you play the first one. How about the story in general? Is it kind of anything memorable there, or
the first one? Not really, to be honest. I think the storytelling is already a lot better in this one. You've got these pretty nicely written notes about the patients in this asylum who are they're affected by this kind of curse or disease unique to this island, and they're losing their memories, they're losing their identities, and that the doctors are experimenting on them to discover why these things are happening. It sells the location quite well. The first one actually had a dub. It had a really, really bad English dub. And I mean, it's very like appropriate of like the time and place for watching like an international movie. But it does get in the way of you taking the story seriously. And I don't remember the storytelling. Like, I couldn't tell you much about the story, to be honest, thinking back to it. This one definitely hits some higher marks. From what I understand, all the sequels are better than the first one at that.
I think a lot of them, or most of them, or all of them, are on PC. So I'm probably going to be playing that on there.
Yeah, check it out. This or I guess 2. A lot of people say 2 is really good. So I'm interested in going back to that at some point.
Cool. Let's talk about what's new in the industry. And we'll start with the first news piece. That is Metal Gear Solid Master Collection being quite bad, Ian. And I want to say, I wish I could say this was unexpected, but I had a feeling that Konami is not going to do the justice that these games deserve.
I mean, they don't. I mean, they're a corporation, so they're first and foremost interested in making money. Right?
I know.
But I guess I'm not surprised that they really see this as just a product to milk, and it's not really like a product for the fans. It's not something that because like I mean you and I have played through the games that are in this collection already, right?
Well, apart from I haven't played the NES games. I haven't played those.
Okay, yeah. But MGS 1 through 3 you've played.
Yeah.
I mean, you would hope that this could be a collection so good that it could make you want to double dip. I mean, I've still got 2 and 3 on my PS3. I've got 1 on my PS3 actually. But if it was a really good collection, I'm going to double dip. But Konami isn't interested in that, right? They're interested in some really quick and dirty ports.
Yeah, and I don't know if they realize that they're on borrowed time, or they maybe don't see that, because after 5, it's not like they're going to be making a new game, or maybe they will. I don't know.
I'm sure they will. Right?
You think so? I guess.
Oh, they want some money.
Oh man, the Metal Gear Survive. I haven't played that yet, and I kind of just keep wanting to check that just for historical purposes. People are saying that if you stop thinking about that game as a Metal Gear, you might have some fun with it. And I remember Kojima tweeting when the game came out, like he was like, just being cheeky. He was like, "Oh, I would have done it with robots."
Let me tell you, I tried Survive for
you did?
all of 20 minutes, and I think my character was on the ground panting from a lack of thirst or something like that, because there's a whole survival, like hunger thirst system that ties into the whole economy. From what I understand, it's not just that you can't consider it Metal Gear, it's that you have to be willing to put up with all of these other elements and slog through the whole economy system, which is primarily designed to sell you microtransactions and waste your time and things like that. If you can slog through that, you can find the good gameplay.
You know, if they want to make a new game, they would have to, I don't know, it just can't be Metal Gear anymore, right? You don't have the person that had all of these crazy ideas.
Well, MGS3 remake is the perfect place to start, right?
Actually, I guess, yeah, you're right, because that
if
game...
they could do a really good, faithful remake.
Well, I guess it depends. If that game is just a faithful remake, then they're still on that borrowed time I mentioned. It'll be, what I'm interested in is to see is like a Metal Gear Solid 6, I guess, if that will ever happen.
And for sure. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Will it be good or not? I mean, that's a whole separate discussion. But I think it's inevitable. I mean, MGS is one of Konami's biggest franchises, right? I think it's inevitable that they will continue to make more. All the other franchises, Castlevania, Contra, Bomberman, things like that Konami owns, they make those games to this day, and I'm sure there are very few of the original people are still working on these titles.
Yeah,
they probably actually, if anything, I would say they have more people these days that worked on MGS5 still employed at Konami than they have making a Castlevania game.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's not like they haven't been abusing Metal Gear IP before. I mean, they have the pachinko machines, right? I'm sure there's a bunch of them in Japan.
Let's be honest, Konami for a long time had messed up everything it touched except for Metal Gear, and I'm assuming that's due to Kojima's influence within the company.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that this is the collection that for the first time has Metal Gear Solid 3 on PC. So I have to give credit to that.
Sounds like it's better to just play it on an emulator.
Well, yes, there is. I'm going to link to the Digital Foundry's video on that. They pretty much explain everything really well in that video. They go through all of the games. They compare them to original and the HD collection. And actually, a lot of the, I think 2 and 3 are pretty much from the HD collection that was out on 360 and PS3 some years ago. And to a point where sometimes you even see on the loading screen, you see the logo of the HD collection. So if you have those, you probably have the versions you probably should be playing, unless obviously you're on PC where you can actually get some mods to improve the situation, and there's already mods to fix the resolution and certain other things for 2 and 3. 1, on the other hand, is still best played on probably emulation or PS1. That's probably the best way to do that, because there's some issues with this with this game in this release. So it's just a mixed bag. Apparently the menus and extra content is pretty good as well. You get a lot of like extra material, manuals, scripts.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm not going to deny that, but you still end up getting kind of a mixed bag of things, right? Like if you want to play the best of Metal Gear Solid 1, it's not this collection. If you want to play the best of 2, it's not going to be this as well. It's just disappointing. I guess that's the best way to describe this. Just disappointing, right?
Apparently some patches are coming for some issues.
Yeah.
But I still hope that that Volume 2 could be good, because MGS4 is still locked to the PS3. This isn't like the first 3 MGS games where you have other options of how you want to play this game. Your only option is, well, I guess there is some PS3 emulation at this point, but MGS4 has not a great frame rate, and it's 720p on PS3. So I would like to have a better option if I wanted to replay that game.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can give Volume 2 a little extra cooking time. I suppose it's possible that they rushed out Volume 1 a bit because they didn't want to release this so close to the MGS3 remake. If they didn't want to poach any sales, they want to release them slightly further apart if they can.
Oh, I don't know. I would expect the remake not going to be out for a while.
I guess we don't know. But if they're showing off, they showed off gameplay footage recently, right? So maybe next year?
Maybe.
Possibly?
Well, that's Metal Gear Collection, Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1. Actually, our next piece of news is also Konami. It will be a Konami-heavy news episode.
Who could guess that Silent Hill continues to disappoint?
Yes.
So there is a new. Well, actually, let's back up. About a year ago, was about a year ago, Konami announced like 4 Silent Hill games on one day, right? There was this 8 or 9 year hiatus where there was no Silent Hill stuff. The last thing was the massive Silent Hills cancellation. And it's obvious, people were saying, oh, Silent Hill is dead, blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe in your eyes, but not in Konami's eyes, right? Because Konami knows Silent Hill makes money. And they're just taking a break from the series, but of course they're cooking up things in the back. And turns out it wasn't just 1 or 2 things, it was like 4 different projects. So there's a couple that we don't know too much about that could be interesting, actually. They look the most promising. Silent Hill F and Silent Hill Town something.
So I know about the Silent Hill 2 remake, right?
And then yes, that
And
Ascension.
Ascension.
But there is actually, I believe, a British indie developer that is doing a new Silent Hill game, and there is, I want to say, a Chinese studio teaming up with a famed visual novel writer to do another Silent Hill game that's going to be set in East Asia.
Okay.
And both of the trailers for those look promising. They look like they're not really traditional Silent Hill games, but maybe it would be best if they just, tried something totally different for once. Which I suppose they're also trying with this new Ascension game to pretty disappointing reception.
Yeah, so this Ascension is such an experimental look.
It's not really a game, right? I mean, we don't need to get fussy over definitions, but it is a Twitch chat. It's a live stream thing for controlling the outcomes of an Until Dawn sort of Telltale style game, right? Where people can comment and vote on what they want to see happen next. The problem is it's not very good. It's free but very aggressive with its monetization. Is one of the biggest things. The other thing is it seems like the developers don't know how to control behaviors. Serge and I were laughing earlier about this article. People were they had to shut the game down temporarily because people were making all kinds of sex jokes.
I mean, you have
lightly.
to. How can you not expect that in our day and age? That is.
Serge, did you see that that you could pay money for a sticker in the chat that says "It's trauma" in big bubbly purple letters?
Yeah, I mean, also beyond all of that, for me, this is such a swing and miss on what Silent Hill is supposed to be. Silent Hills are such a personal stories, right? It's a very personal journey of the main character and what happened in their lives and how that translates into these horrors that they're seeing. And it's almost like it's a very solitary journey as well. Like I'm if you think about like Silent Hill 2 is a perfect example of that. But how can you take that and then involve a Twitch chat element to that? Right, you have to be such a genius twist of, I don't know.
Some suit thought this was going to print money, right? They thought this was a really easy way to make a lot of money.
I don't know. I don't want to kind of maybe look Konami is, right? But I also think that at the end of the day, it's still the team that makes this game, right? The development team. So they are. I hope that they are kind of confident that this is kind of in line with what Silent Hill should be. But from what I've seen so far, it just doesn't appear to be. And
well, I would say it's not really the developer's fault because Konami's the one that supplies the resources, and I think famously, Konami has outsourced a lot of Silent Hill games to Western studios in the past, and I don't think they've given them the proper resources. And I think in some cases the developers were maybe even unfairly scapegoated for some poor upper management decisions. This is not the way to bring back. I mean, funny enough, I think they got it right with Metal Gear. The first thing after a hiatus, what people want to see is they want to see the old games preserved properly. They want to see familiar stuff, and then when you remind people about that, then you can bring back things in a different way. And maybe if they had launched with some good ports, maybe they launched with a really solid Silent Hill 2 remake, then people will be more open to something completely different.
Yeah.
But even though there's the remake of 2 coming out, for a lot of people, like at the end of the day, this is still the first new Silent Hill game in like 8 years.
Yeah.
And so expectations are high.
Yeah, I mean, there's been all sorts of Silent Hill games in the past, right? There was one on PSP, I think. I've never tried that one. I think that one also had
Origins,
some multiplayer elements, which at that time I was like, why is that what Silent Hill needs?
Well, there was a dungeon crawler on the Vita, like a Diablo style.
Oh, yeah, God. I guess it's a franchise that became a lot of things. I'm still holding on to that idea that the mainland should be what it always was, this personal, disturbing experience, like survival horror. And hopefully Silent Hill 2 remake is gonna still deliver that.
Well, in Silent Hill 2 remake news, just today there was something about pre-orders that suggest that you can finally learn Pyramid Head's origin story in this remake.
But there's no origin. There's no origins, right?
Yeah, so Pyramid Head is a great kind of, I don't know. There's probably some kind of like George Lucas effect that you could attribute to this, where Pyramid Head is pretty distinctly laid out in Silent Hill 2. Why he exists, what he exists for, and he exists for that specific story. But because he became so iconic, Konami had inserted him into every entry in the series pretty much afterwards.
Well, I remember him being in the movie as well, which I was like, why is there a Pyramid Head in the movie?
Yeah. I mean, it's completely missing the point, right? He's
Yeah.
to Konami, he is just a mascot, right? So
I think also the nurses were in the movie, even though again, it's because of the story of the two that they were nurses. God damn it.
Yeah. So he's just a mascot, and obviously they want to milk things, and I think it's Konami they probably think genuinely that people are going to love to learn the origins, the real story of Pyramid Head. But I mean, disregard to the fact that it's taking a lot of creative liberties with a remake when people are already a bit unhappy with the creative liberties that they've seen so far in the trailers. I mean, we'll see how the final result turns out. I try not to be too harsh on the game, but I don't think things like that need explaining, and I just suspect that whatever the answer is, it just can't be as interesting as whatever you've thought up in your head, right? Like,
no.
And I will say, as a fan of any franchise, I think you got to learn when to accept. Like, okay, Konami's going to make a Metal Gear Solid 6, but do you accept it? Like, are you going to spend money on it? Are you going to play it? And even if you do, are you going to consider it like canon? Are you going to consider it the real story? Because anyone can buy anything these days, obviously. And any franchise can run forever, obviously. I mean, how long until Disney comes for the thing that which you love the most, Serge? And they can call something canon because they own the rights to it. But do you just say, well, people can keep making Metal Gear games, but to me, it's only Kojima's work. And you draw the line there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the only franchise that I have these kind of feelings towards. Like, I think Star Wars for me is one of those as well.
That's the big one, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Konami is doing a lot of swings now. A lot of these swings will probably be misses, but I'm just hoping that at least one, at least some of this will be nice. It will be good. We'll see how it goes. Cool. That will do for news for this episode. We'll have a quick break and we'll come back with the first game, which is Haunting Grounds. Welcome back, everyone, to Haunting Grounds, or Demento, as it's known in Japan.
Yes.
Just another pointless case of name changing for absolutely no reason whatever.
Neither title is particularly appropriate either. There's
Sure.
no ghosts. There's not really any ghosts in this game.
Yeah.
To haunt.
But I just never like it. And actually, this game, I said last time that I had no idea. I actually knew about this game. I just didn't remember the name when you mentioned it.
Oh yeah.
But I know of this game and I've always wanted to play it. And
Really?
now we're here. So first of all, I just want to mention that I'm not only using all the enhancements available in the emulation, but I'm also using a mod by one called Spider Cop that essentially makes a lot of textures HD and makes the game look a lot better than it probably looked back on PS2.
Okay, interesting.
But apart from that, it's the same game. I'm playing the NTSC version.
Good boy.
And let's just jump in, I guess. Actually, there's so we can check out quickly the a bit of the, I guess not an intro, but start menu, cinematic, where you see Fiona almost
Almost naked, yeah.
Almost naked.
Yeah, this game. I've got things to say about that.
Right.
We'll address that elephant. But this is one of those weird games where there is an intro cutscene that plays if you linger at the start menu.
Yes.
A cutscene that is nowhere else in the game. Have you ever been in the situation where you linger in the main menu, the cutscene starts playing, and you're like, oh, is this a unique cutscene? Do I need to watch this? You watch it all the way through, and then you hit new game, and then it starts playing the same cutscene except it's unskippable.
I know that there's games like that I've played myself as well. I just can't give you any examples at the moment, but I'm sure this game is of its time,
Yeah.
and I think around this time is when this was really popular. I don't think you see that often anymore these days.
This cutscene is also like kind of uncanny valley.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it looks. The entire rest of the game is in-game cutscenes, and I will say this is one of the. I mean, this graphical mod should be interesting, but I will say this is one of the best looking PS2 games for my money. It's only released on the PS2.
Yes, it does look nice in general, and actually, you mentioned that it was competing with, unfortunately, Resident Evil 4 back in the day. I've said that didn't help this game, but I think in general, it's not a very well known game, though.
No, it's I mean, 2005, so sort of a later release for the PS2. I don't know. I think the problem, because if you look at the reviews for this game, they aren't that great. Critics were just sick of classic Resident Evil gameplay. They were sick of fixed camera. They were sick of shuffling through inventories and things like that, and they wanted something new. Which is funny because I would argue that this game does a lot of fresh things, a lot of unique things with the formula. It's much closer to Clock Tower. It actually has some references to the Clock Tower series, if you know that series, Serge.
Yes, I do. But actually, I there's a different game that I think this game is close to, and I'll mention that in a bit. Actually, I'm glad that this is on screen right now, because if you linger again, you can see a kind of demonstration video, and here you see the actual unemulated, unmodded graphics. This is how it looks,
Yeah.
right? Looked. So with that in mind, let's jump in.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the biggest killer for this game was Resident Evil 4, because Resident Evil 4 transformed horror games, and it felt so fresh and new, and this was not what people wanted at the time. If they'd released this before that, maybe it would have fared better.
Yeah.
So I guess this first cutscene is CG, but after this, it's all in engine.
So this game, I obviously haven't played it, but from everything I've gathered, is this an attempt to try and do a different type of survival horror, where it's a lot more kind of tension and mental horror than anything with creatures or anything like that?
Yeah, it is definitely, as I say, it's definitely different. It brings a lot of fresh ideas to the table, in the same way that I suppose Capcom's Dino Crisis did as well.
Maybe that's why they tried to call it Demento, something to do with
psychological.
Yeah, some psychological kind of horror, as opposed to Resident Evil, right?
I'll say, as far as Capcom horror games go, it's probably one of the most story heavy and one of the maybe better written horror games that Capcom's done. So maybe for them it was something very personal and psychological.
Man, this triple take. So Fiona here, straight up in a curtain.
Or Fiona. You do feel quite bad for Fiona throughout this game.
Yeah.
More so than most other horror game protagonists.
It's a lot of physics happening with that towel she has thing.
This is one of those weirdly drawn out CG cutscenes where you just wonder how expensive every second of animation cost, and why it drags on so long.
I mean, just rendering that thing she has probably was the most.
Blanket, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if that didn't make it drop, then nothing will.
Huey. All right.
No, actually, I got the impression that perhaps one of the reasons why this game exists is because Resident Evil 4 went through so many different revisions. The game started and restarted development several times, and that one of them involved a girl in the castle. And actually, there are parts of this game that look a lot like the castle segment in RE4.
All right. Yeah, this feels like Resident Evil.
Well, it's not tank controls, right?
No, it's not. Well, no, it's not.
You get, it's like Devil May Cry. You get full 3D movement,
Yeah.
and with a panning camera too, which is something that so it's something that you didn't see. Now I know the Silent Hill games had a dynamic camera, but they weren't fixed like this. So this is probably along with like DMC1. This is one of the few games out there that let you still have a fixed camera, but it's not pre-rendered backgrounds. So the developers can swivel and pin the camera in different ways and have a lot of control of what you get to see.
I mean, look, they need all the camera controls here in this case. Don't really want to get into certain angles. Okay, let's check out this area in the back here. Ooh, you see the mod textures kind of load up. You can see a bit of the old ones for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the mod just enabling all of the emulation enhancements just does really good things to the visuals of this game. I loaded it without any of that first, and it was a mess. I could barely see anything. I'm sure if you play on PS2 on a good CRT, it would be a different story, but you know. Chamomile.
I mean, it's hard to see how well through the bitrate through you sharing the screen. I mean, I can make it a picture. I don't know if I can make it out to the point where I can say that it's 100% consistent. I sometimes find it weird in games where mods will raise the texture resolution, but then all the objects will still be low poly. And you get this weird kind of disjointed effect where some aspects of an image are higher res than others. So, what's the point of a high res bush if the bush is only like 24 polys?
Well, yeah.
But I can't really judge that from where I stand. So if it's working for you, I mean, I suppose that's all that matters. Oh, I did see that pop in. That's pretty severe.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna try to get into the house, into the castle. All right. I like that I can run unrestricted.
I like that this game isn't afraid to have a slower opening. They just freely let you wander around. I mean, the opposite of this would be like RE2, where the first screen already has 3 zombies running at you.
Yeah.
And you have to move.
These 3 stand out to me.
Yeah, maybe that might be the mod. Might be.
No, it's
examples what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the mod doesn't add these. It's just they kind of just stand out, just being there.
Just that their textures might be. I don't know if they read so brightly red in in the original, but if the textures weren't done just the right way, then they pop too much for decorative objects.
Oh, I really like this. That's so weird. So you don't see the outside, and you would think it would be some sort of loading or some sort of transition, but it's actually seamless. That's interesting. I've never seen that before.
It's also not like the other horror games where doors are distinct areas. And that's important. That ties into the gameplay because in this game, enemies can move through environments.
Mm.
They can move through rooms.
She looks so like frightened.
I've gathered some clothes for you. Wait, don't go. Excuse me, but where are we? And how did I get here?
Man, this VO. Oh man, it's so good.
Yes, Master. We will keep her here for a while. I will make sure she stays comfortable.
At least the Fiona's face is so animated, like you see all the emotions on it. Like it's really not stiff compared to this other woman, at least.
Well, that's by design for her character. But yeah, it's quite good facial animation for the time.
Yeah, it feels like they paid extra attention to that. All right, let's get changed here, I guess. What if I say no? Nothing. Can I leave?
I don't think she'll let you leave until you change your clothes. Yeah, call me old-fashioned.
Yeah, you are old-fashioned. All right. Uh. Hey Ian, I don't know if we're more or less skimpier now.
Poor Fiona. I mean, okay, so we won't really get a chance to cover this in the gameplay in this segment. So I'll just say that I mean, yeah, the sex stuff it is what it is. Somebody thought that this is going to sell copies to teenage boys.
I remember being in the...
I mean, is there a deeper meaning to this, to any of this peeping and...
I will say that the intended effect that it has on you throughout the game changes a bit. I'd like to think the developers got to do some interesting stuff with the sexual aspect because, well, I'll let you read this first.
Okay, I can kick, I can throw, crouch down to the shadows. Okay. Backstep. Push background. Charge. Okay.
Don't you hate when games just
There's a lot of things you can do.
give you a lot of crap to remember right away?
What a girly kick. Crouch. Okay. And then,
Dodge.
that's a lot of actions you can do. And
And
it
you can
was
charge,
charge.
run, and press square.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah, so in this game, you cannot fight back against enemies. This is what you have. You can shove enemies away, you can dodge, you can run away. But this game is all about hiding and avoiding your enemies.
Mm.
And this game, again, we won't really get into this stuff in this segment, but this game gets into some pretty taboo topics involving sexuality. I would say that a lot of the horror in this game comes from a horror of sexuality and fear of things like that.
Oh, okay.
And I think that, coupled with the fixed camera, the game also has this depth of field effect where it will blur foreground objects, and it gives you the, like, when I play this game, I don't think, wow, Fiona's so sexy or whatever. I feel bad. I feel like I'm prying when I control her. I feel like I'm a camera observing her, and it makes you feel a bit guilty. And I think that's intentional. As you play through the game and you get into the deeper, darker stuff, it feels very very intentional.
Well, I guess if that was the intent, then it's.
I mean, that said, it is still a marketing angle. Like, when you play New Game Plus with this game, you can unlock some even skimpier outfits for her, even more shameful outfits. So it is definitely, I think first and foremost there for teenage boys to buy the game. But I like that they got to do some interesting things with it too.
I mean, look, sex sells to pretty much everybody. I wouldn't like, but I do appreciate when the games try to do something half meaningful.
Yeah, I know some critics it got some flack for that, even on release. But I do think this game has been unfairly overlooked.
Ooh, so these are here to kick them, I guess.
Yeah.
Medallion. Okay, alchemy. All right. Stamina. So where's my stamina? I'm not seeing the.
I'm trying to remember how this works. Stamina isn't, if I remember correctly, you don't have a health bar in the traditional sense. You have a stamina meter or psychological meter, or maybe you have that in addition to a health meter. I don't quite remember. But in this game, your character Fiona can have a panic attack.
Oh, okay.
She can you can get like knocked over, and she can get stunned because she's so like psychologically damaged, and you have to manage that by keeping away from the enemies. In this game, you only ever face one enemy at a time. There aren't just zombies hanging out. There is one pursuer type enemy. If you think of like Mr. X in Resident Evil,
so
you have to worry about one of those at once.
Okay, so you don't fight the enemies, and is that essentially the game loop where you have to like hide from them?
There are additional layers, but the core gameplay is avoiding enemies.
Okay. Do you think that carries the game to the end?
Oh, definitely. It's not a particular, I mean, none of the Resident Evil games are that long. I would say this game is probably maybe 6 or 8 or 9 hours, something like that, and it is compelling the whole way through. This game also has see there. So your stamina, I believe it's your stamina has been affected by this, a bit like a sanity meter. This game also has multiple endings based on some decisions that you make through the game. I suppose like Silent Hill. Probably a lot of this game was Capcom playing, someone at Capcom playing Silent Hill and saying, could we sort of do our own take on this?
Oh, I hear a doggy. Oh god, this angle. All right. Okay, so definitely some experimental sci-fi stuff happening here with alchemy, I guess. Not something I would expect from this kind of game. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you, Fiona.
Hmm.
I'm getting these herbs. Are they actual herbs? Or are they just
They're items that you can use to recover stamina. Oh, yes,
panic?
right. So there's stamina and
Okay.
panic.
All right.
So that'll calm her down. But you don't need to worry. I want to say that panic slowly decreases because obviously you had that brief effect, which isn't really anything to worry about. But
Oh god. Okay. So you want to smell me? Well, I do have a kick.
that's right.
Hey, guy. Oh shit!
He kicked
God
you
damn.
right back. and then
Uh,
he scratched his groin.
am I like injured?
Yeah. You can't. You're not gonna hurt him.
Oh
Like
god.
that.
Wait, I need to heal myself. Stamina. Try that. Okay. Huh? Hey, guy. Please. I'm a
That
lady.
blurring effect means your panic's going up.
Oh. Okay. Oof. Oh. Nice. Closets or beds to hide. Okay. To move. Alright. Alright. Evasion points. Okay, bed. So this. Oh, I can't move the camera. That's disappointing.
Yeah, that would be cool. I do like that it goes to first person though. That is clever.
I appreciate the minimalistic or non-existent UI, but I just wish there was some sort of indication of my stamina and sanity meter, something like that.
Honestly, I feel like it's one of those things that is more there to stress you out than actually a meter, a resource you have to worry about. If I remember correctly, I don't remember ever having many issues with the panic meter throughout the game.
Yeah, but at the same time, that you have items literally that you can consume to, make
Yeah.
it better. So I don't know. I guess she does kind of like body language things when that happens. So I guess you could judge it by that. Coast clear. How very deliberate.
Mhm.
Okay, I guess we can come out now. All right, so that guy's gone. He looked like a discount Quasimodo. All right, let's go back to where he was, I guess.
Actually, I own a physical copy of the NTSC version of this game,
Mm.
which the PAL version of this game is probably maybe 20, 30 pounds. Not that expensive. But when I got a copy of this, I paid something like around 50 pounds,
Oh,
maybe about 5 years ago. And I do think this game has been getting a cult following because last I checked, copies were more like 300 or 400 pounds on eBay.
hmm.
Again,
That's
just for the North American copies, not expensive for European or Japanese. So maybe it sold better in those markets.
how-
Quite the pungent odor.
God, I can just imagine the smell. This looks like something I can push, maybe. Oops, not that button.
If you just walk up against it,
Ah, yeah. Okay, actually, what's over here?
now this is one of those games where the encounters aren't overly scripted. So our opponent, he could show up at pretty much any time.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. This place needs some maintenance. Oh, it's a save point.
Good thinking, but no. They actually use typewriters for something different. Does she not know what a
Yeah,
typewriter
it's a
is? Holy
typewriter,
crap.
Fiona.
It's definitely not a computer.
What am I supposed to... I'm just... What? Just gotta put my name. Okay. Oh, okay. What is that? What does it do? Oh, I like that she has like diary kind of thing.
Yeah, I forgot about these are cute. These are I mean you get to see sort of her perspective of events with extra details.
See, a bit tight in the chest area. I like how she has the time to stop and put like a note in her diary while being chased by the Quasimodo.
Yep.
Yeah, what do they do? All right. Actually, so I can equip. Okay.
I think equip just means use in this case.
No, I think it's for throwing, right?
Ah, that's right. You can throw his doll
All
to
right.
distract him.
Okay, well, that wasn't a save point, unfortunately.
I don't remember if this is like RE where if you die you go back to a save point. I think the game might just have a checkpoint system. I remember there was manual saving, but I don't know if death makes you go back to the last save.
Oh, the hell is that? All right, someone trying to create a golem. I guess that's what this... Oops. Oh, did I throw the doll? Nope, still have it.
You threw whatever the consumable you had was.
Well,
I don't know if it means you can pick it up or what.
no, it was the doll, right? I have it equipped. But I guess
You had equipped, so you threw it. So
Wait, so
no, it must be
if I
something
throw
else.
it now... Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
But then can I pick it up again?
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Oh shit! Really?
That's dumb.
Nasty.
Oh man, what an oversight. I feel like If it's like would it have powder, right? That's fine, just breaks, right? But I would expect a doll that you could pick it up again. It's so weird.
That might be a technical, might just been too much work, but they
Maybe.
could have at least maybe highlighted that in the description.
Okay. Okay, missing a key. Can we move this guy?
There's some fun personality in the.
Yeah, I like her comments.
He's got a lot of them.
Okay. Well, nothing here, I guess. Nothing else.
So that file gave you a clue.
Yeah, it was talking about golem making. But wait, let's. I mean, it doesn't say how to activate him or move him.
Well, the highlighted text is a clue.
Oh, god damn it! I used. Oh god. Because the thing is, the triangle is back. So if you press it accidentally again,
yeah.
Oh god.
It is nasty.
That is unfortunate. I don't have anything else, right? Oh, I have this. What is this?
It's like a mine.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I can equip it. All right, so I've do I it needs something, but I'm not.
Yeah, what does it say? A slot-shaped hole?
Yeah.
Do you have any slot stuff?
Oh, wait. Is it my nameplate? Let's try it. Use. Nothing happens. Well, all right.
We can't use your name.
Okay.
But you used to just keep the pacing up for the sake of time. But you've got the golem's name.
Oh, I do. Actually, yeah, you're right. Okay, let's put his name on a plate. Actually, I was gonna put Fiona's name. I guess that wouldn't have worked. Huh, that's interesting. I like this kind of brain puzzle thing that they have here. Wait, that wasn't here. Was that here? Nope. Wait. No, that was all the way over there. So his name was Emeth, I think.
Yeah, you've got the file.
Yeah. Okay, well, I expect to get a golem minion now. That's what I expect. All right. All of that just to move away from the door.
Stand in the corner.
I mean, alchemy and golem ink is not the thing I would go for if I had to guess what this game is about. Okay, wow. All right. So I have this crouch. I haven't used it yet. I don't know how I would even...
Can't even remember what it's for.
Okay, I guess I'll use the ladder. I know that there's from promotional material, there's obviously she will have like a dog companion that Huey she meets. Is that something we'll get to, or is that later in the game?
You get to meet Huey pretty early on. I hope we'll have time. I'm not optimistic though, but that is a big aspect of the gameplay. So you can use the right analog stick, whichever direction that you press it in. You can give Huey different commands.
Oh, okay.
So he can bite the enemies and not so much deal damage to them as keep them occupied, so that you can run away. You can also there's more to it where you can get Huey to fetch you items. Huey can you can praise him. You can even if he misbehaves, you can even punish him.
He misbehaves.
And I think he can get distracted by other things.
Okay.
You can basically say bad dog. You can even kick him.
Oh wow.
So there actually is an affinity stat that builds throughout the game. Huey listens to you better. So the game they put a lot of work into this whole bonding mechanic, and having Huey help you out. He's pretty essential to the gameplay.
Okay.
This is probably one of the first instances I can think of a dog companion in a game. I guess that Heart of Darkness game probably did it before.
Oh yeah.
Did it first. But I remember seeing a behind the scenes video for this game where they had a dog in a mocap suit and things like that. Which you see a lot of these days. And a lot of games have dog mechanics.
Is this dead end?
Maybe you have to come back. Oh, there you go.
Ah, Fiona. I see you finally awakened. There's something that I've wanted to show you for quite some time. Pull away that sheet behind you.
Like if you tried to do this before, she's like, I should be snooping around.
Yeah.
as if that's real justification.
Beautiful.
What is that?
That, my dear, is what you will become in the future. Go ahead.
Wait.
You may touch.
Become stone?
Will be mine, Fiona.
Pregnant?
Oh. Okay.
It's made of wood. I don't know if that's just the texture pack being funky.
No, yeah, it kind of looks like a wood as well.
I think I'll refrain from touching it.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I'd prefer not to.
All right, I got it. Oh, wait. I didn't get the key. Just grab the key, Fiona. God damn it.
Yeah, what if you ran off and
Yeah,
you were
that's so
stumped
weird.
and Maybe they didn't want a pickup message right after the cutscene.
Okay, I think it's probably on for that other door. I'm still looking for a map for this place.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there is a map.
Well, that's what she said. She's like, I need to find a map.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, what is this key for then?
Do you
Garden
have
key.
to use it there?
I guess not.
You can't use it from that menu while sitting in front of the door?
Oh, is that how? I
Well, that's how it works in Resident Evil.
Man, I would expect. Oh man, that's okay.
Well, you did the same thing with the golem, right?
No, yeah. Okay, this is one of those things that we're reading about, I guess. Luminescence. Oh, okay, so they're not nice.
They don't look that bad, do they?
No, but okay. Bye.
Go through the door.
How do I close the...
Just turn around and action key.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
But it doesn't stop enemies, right? Unless it's these...
Stops these guys.
Right, okay.
For some reason.
Can I sit on this chair?
Why is there a chair here?
Oh. I did something. Huh? Wait. I don't know what it opens. Is it this door? Wait. What if I move that chair? Can I move that chair? Why can't I? That's annoying. Just put that chair there, Fiona. Man.
Yeah, good point.
I guess not. Can I move this? Nope. Okay, this needs a knob. I don't think I have anything like that. No. Oh wait, medallion. I do have that. Nope. I don't have anything.
You always show the player the door before the key, right?
Oh, that's the save point.
Clocks are saving. Okay.
All right. All right. Well, this is actually a good place to stop. Just about 45 minutes. In just of new shorter format. Unless if you remember if there's any kind of notable event coming up, then we can kind of.
I'm not sure what we're gonna hit in the next 15 minutes or so.
Okay. Well, we did kind of. Obviously, we didn't get to the Huey, but we did get to the main gameplay loop, which is escaping from the.
Yeah, it's interesting that they give you the enemy, but then you get away from him so fast. So I remember that being it's a very large part of the game is getting away from the enemies, but the game really early on just gives you a lot to explore, which is just kind of nice actually looking back on it.
Well, I think this game, actually, I mentioned it before. You mentioned what game did you say that reminded you of?
Clock Tower.
Clock Tower, yes. For me, this reminds me of Alien Isolation, actually. This idea of kind of basing a lot of the core gameplay on hiding and avoiding enemy, someone you can't really fight. And hearing as well, like right now I'm hearing him on the right. obviously that's the only way, right? Or actually, no, it's because you can. There's a staircase here, so I'm hearing him on the right. So I assume that if I go here, somebody's gonna be there. So using this. Oh, actually, no, wait, I'm here again. Ah, okay, back here. So yeah, like using sound and trying to avoid enemies really like reminds me of Alien Isolation.
You can see this. This wasn't all for naught. I mean, Capcom these days with the first-person Resident Evil games, they do stuff like this. I mean, in Resident Evil 7, with Jack pursuing you around the house, it works much like this. There isn't so much hiding, but he is an enemy that can appear at any time, not scripted, that you need to run away from.
All right, so that was Haunting Grounds or Demento. This is the type of horror I enjoy that is not to do with maybe body horror or monsters. Obviously, that guy looks like he looks fucked up, I guess, but I appreciate that this game's trying to do a bit more of psychological stuff.
It definitely gets fucked up in its own way without gore or anything like that.
And even just playing the first hour or so already kind of shows you that it's that way, with like all the peeping and stuff like that.
Yeah, the villain doesn't want to kill you; he wants to rape you.
Yeah, it's like, are you gonna be pregnant, yo? And made of wood.
Oh no, I don't want to be balsa wood.
Yeah, and the whole alchemy element also interesting where that goes. All right, so that was Haunting Grounds. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with the next game, which is Overlord.
Overlord. Back with Overlord and the Raising Hell expansion.
Yes, Overlord, developed by Triumph in 2007, published by Codemasters. This game is very much like kind of has a vibe of Dungeon Keeper mixed with Fable, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
And has a similar humor as well. In fact, this was written by Rhianna Pratchett, famously daughter of Terry Pratchett.
Famously a game writer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Wrote the Tomb Raider games.
Yeah.
Reboots.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed this game back in the day. Something about the setting and the humor.
Wow, we're already in.
Oh, yeah. So you play as the Overlord, and it has the game splits its time between the third person action where you order your minions to do your bidding, and then the other part of the game is building up your lair, I guess, and upgrading your minions.
This cavern is the spawning pit, sire, where new minions are born and live. Now you are here, you can call forth minions from this minion gate.
That's right, mouse to summon minions.
There you go.
He looks like a gremlin. He looks like the smart gremlin from Gremlins.
Yeah. They remind me of Gremlins as well from the movie.
Of course, if you want to get straight to the smiting, then I shall meet you in the throne room upstairs.
Yeah, let's get to some smiting.
Unless you give them a task.
So yeah, this game came out on consoles as well, and I got the impression that this game took aspects of strategy games that Triumph was known for, and sort of mixed them with third-person action.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. I can't say I've played. Honestly, I know they made Age of Wonders, but I haven't played any of those games myself, so I can't really compare them Overlord to those games.
Respect my authority.
Stop! You're tickling! You're tickling! Good. Now hit him again. Don't hold back.
Jeez, this combat's lacking some feedback.
See? It's all coming back now. Evil is not something you just forget. Come on, you metal! That's it! Now you've got him!
You can tell this was designed for controller first because spacebar's attack.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. You can't. I don't think you can hold it either. So I'm mashing space.
They should call you the Overlord!
Yeah. So left click is to issue commands.
He just called you Overlord.
Overlord. How dare you? How dare you?
Call your minions back, Master! All of them!
Yep.
Right, Mr. Overlord! Show me some evil! If you need your minions to follow a complicated route, then you must sweep them through it.
Both right and left. Oh, okay, interesting. You know what this is missing? You know. I know this was built for PC. There is no cursor. There's no crosshair even.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really need something to orient.
Does that make it hard to navigate them, like to move them where you
A
want
little
them?
bit, yeah.
Hmm.
Off they go.
I hurt! I hurt!
Why is it? Oh, okay.
I think you're ready, Master. Accompany me.
Camera
to the
controls can be a little
throne.
wonky.
Mm. Yeah. this humor right there is it's full of that kind of stuff in the game. So if you like that, then this will be a game for you. But if you're not into that kind of humor and setting, then obviously it's not going to do anything for you.
Brianna Pratchett, I like her stuff.
Alas,
She's
what
worked on some
cannot
good
be a bastion
good
of
games.
evil these days without wretched heroes lining up to prove themselves. That last lot were particularly bothersome, killing your predecessor like that. Still, you're here now, sire. Evil will always find a way. They also looted and destroyed much of the tower. But it's merely a setback for the forces of darkness, sire. You are our new Overlord. Rebuild your tower, punish those so-called heroes, and
Sometimes the cutscenes, the dialogue are a little weird. Like the writing is good, but sometimes these
Yeah, a bit
feel a little bit stilted. It's definitely a budget title, Triumph on a big developer.
It's funny how I see how animation is the thing that really lacks in this game, and how that improved over the years with everyone. Even actually to this day, animation is so hard to get right, but you really notice the lack of good animations in this one.
So there's some sequels to this game. Have you played any of them? Just the first one.
So I played the first one, the expansion to it, the second game, and that's it. This game famously is actually kind of, I guess, similar to Titanfall 2, where everybody wanted Overlord 3, but they just never delivered it. And there was a new game in the series called Overlord Fellowship of Evil, which was out in about, I think, 2015, but it was like a Diablo clone multiplayer thing of dungeon crawling, and it was just not the thing that everyone wanted from Overlord franchise. And I think back then, I think even Random Pratchett said like, "Hey guys, just because this is out doesn't mean that Overlord 3 cannot come out." But that was like years ago, and apparently they did mean that. I don't know if it's like IP issues or, you know, I don't know what it is. But unfortunately, Overlord 2 was the last game in this, and that was, I want to say, 2009.
Yeah, I wonder if I wonder who owns the rights at this point.
Maybe Codemasters still.
Isn't Codemasters owned by EA now?
Maybe.
Kill the sheep.
Stupid, pointless creatures.
Have you ever played Have you ever played Brutal Legend?
No. Is it similar to this?
Brutal Legend's an interesting one because it's by Double Fine, right? Which are known for, well, I mean, I suppose a lot of kinds of games now. But the game was sort of marketed as a Darksiders sort of open worldy Zelda kind of game. But I guess the original sort of point of the game was to be more like this, more of like an action RTS, third-person RTS. And I think near the end of development, they sort of shoehorned the other stuff in. And it's you know, the strategy elements are okay, but it does remind me a bit of this, and it's neat. You know, I wish we got more of these kinds of games. It seems like an obvious thing, like combine strategy games with a totally other side of games, and you could get something new. There just aren't a lot like this.
I don't know if you would call this like pure strategy, right? It's like you controlling the minions, but also you're controlling the Overlord, and he can attack as well, and you pretty much have to work together to kind of achieve tasks, right? And you have to manage the number of minions you have. And I think later on you'll have like choice between different types you can bring. So I guess it's some sort of strategy and base building as well.
Yeah, so there are strategy elements. It's you're not just running in and fighting the enemies just yourself.
Yeah.
So you can. Around here? No. I'll say, despite the jankiness, this is probably a pretty good looking game for 2007. Reminds me a bit of Oblivion with the very saturated colors. Fable, yeah.
I mean, it helps that it was a stylized game, right? So that always helps games to last longer.
And the soup, and the jelly, and the ice cream. I hear the pumpkins whispering at night. I won't leave my farm.
There you go. Obligatory pumpkin for the holiday season.
Your creatures ain't related to pumpkins, are they?
I bet I can't hurt him.
Smash those pumpkins.
The smashing pumpkins.
They're screaming. The pumpkins are screaming. They're scared. Get them! Get them!
I think I read that someone mentioned that this game is kind of like Pikmin, even though I haven't played those games.
Oh yeah. There's definitely some Pikmin in here.
But beyond that, you're right that there's not many games that I've seen that even come close to this kind of mechanic.
It's funny, yeah. Nintendo continue. Wow, this is a weirdly scaled house.
Yeah, I mean, you're a large Overlord.
Yeah, but he's even he couldn't really fit in there.
It's a Hobbit house.
Hobbit house, yeah.
I think actually it looks like it's meant for you to use the minions there specifically, right?
Yeah,
because it's only big enough for them.
Oh, and this little guy. Stupid.
Oh, you better get going, Sonny. The path behind my house leads to the village of Spring.
Yeah, actually, Nintendo continues to make Pikmin games, and at this point, they are the only company I could think of that pursues that format. which seems like a bit of a waste.
Mm.
Or not waste, but a bit of a shame, I should say.
Talk so much. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Right.
Can you use that bridge?
The game's locking. I don't have control of my camera right now.
Okay.
I don't know why. I cannot pan the camera. Oh, shift. So I don't know what's going on there. Okay. I think maybe when you're in this mode, you have to press shift to leave. But when I hold down shift, like for example, to summon minions, you hold shift and then hold right click. When you hold shift, there's no indication that you're doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, with the game there'll be bound to be issues with controls and stuff like that.
Yeah. Even this, like him holding his hand up, I don't think that's enough feedback for recalling your minions and then holding that. I don't know if that's enough for setting them out to attack.
Yeah, there's something.
There should be some audio cues at least.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it would be nice if he had like VO as well. He'd be like, "Go" or "attack."
Yeah, nice. Maybe some more particle effects on his hand or something.
But even without that, there's something compelling about just sending these gremlins to like just decimate those pumpkins or attack the villagers.
Yeah, it's pretty satisfying. I do like that your character is a very like obviously seriously evil person, and then you've got these dinky minions that are your comic relief. Like you're like Sauron.
Yes.
And you've got these like cheeky little goblins.
Yeah. Man, with the latest gen consoles and PC, imagine the amount of goblins you can have in like Overlord 3, like full screen of them. That would be nice.
I think about that a lot, not just with Overlord, but just the amount of goblins we could have in any game, really.
Yeah.
Come on. But in all seriousness, you have to wonder if the day that we focus less on graphical fidelity could be the day that we can push tons of characters on a screen. You wonder if you could have a game where you could have. I guess the Muso games are kind of like an example of that, where you have hundreds of enemies on screen. What if you could do that with like commanding armies?
I mean, they always had a bunch of enemies, right, in those games.
Yeah.
But they sacrifice a lot to achieve that.
Yeah.
Okay, go back to your
yeah,
lair.
So I think so. Yep. Okay.
There you go. So I'm hoping that we're gonna get to some tower management and then maybe one more kind of full mission, and that'll give us a good sample of this game.
It will allow you to visit the tower whenever you wish and provide access to all of the tower's resources. And look, it seems to have bestowed a little gift upon you, sire. You can now control 10 minions.
Nice.
The fireball spell. Robust fellow. Might have known he'd make it.
Really nice VO as well, in contrast to Hunting Ground.
Yeah, not bad.
A crane would be particularly handy. Then we could clear the debris around here. Open up some rooms. Unfortunately, I'm not the evil entity that I once was.
I'm actually looking for a crane. I thought it was a joke.
Welcome to the spawning pit, Master. The tower heart is not only the main source of your tower's power, but it also contains information on your minions. Touch it and see.
Right, okay. That's when you go to the next level. Oh, is the pool... The pool takes to the next level, right? That'll work.
I'm not sure if that's the next thing you need to do, or you need to build something in the lair.
Welcome!
Gonna see. Yeah. Okay. So I need to do something here.
Well, you built the minions have a new spell now.
Wise master,
You have a jester.
keeper of the ruined tower.
Go downstairs again. I think there
Yeah.
was a couple
Upstairs.
of rooms you haven't checked out. I don't remember if you actually ever need to spawn them here.
From a fight. In fact, it's quite difficult to get them to stop. Such is their dedication to the fight that Browns can also use many different objects as weapons.
Hmm.
Yeah, what's over here? All right, I guess that's for later.
Well, unless I can. No. Okay.
No.
See, this block doesn't have the UI on it like the other block, so can't be interacted with.
Yeah. No, I guess that's all there is to do here for now. You just got the new spell, and some of them have clothes now and like clubs and swords. Nice.
Mhm.
I don't know, something.
So I mean,
I like the goblins.
there's nothing I can do with this.
No,
menu.
yeah, that's fine. I think just go to the next mission, I guess.
But I didn't see that as an option in the.
There wasn't. It was in
Oh,
the
okay.
thing, right?
So you admitted, Serge, that it has been a long time since I like this guy. Like you just keep babbling on unless you smack him. And did the stock sound effect too.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I played this game.
Yeah.
But it's coming back. It's one of those things like, when riding on bicycle.
You never forget your Overlord experience.
Reminds, like, just brings you back. Oh, they're wearing pumpkins. I like that.
Seeing this for the first time in a long time, what is there anything different, or is there anything you didn't expect?
Not really. It's as I remember, honestly.
Two halflings holding up some armor. Yeah, I bet that's it. I don't trust those sneaky little what's names.
Maybe you're right. Here, prove you ain't halflings and free our men.
Very much like I remember this game. I would say maybe the having to, like, the ability to lead them directly to a place through like bridges and stuff like that. That I don't particularly remember. I remember mostly like being able to send them to attack people or attack animals, or whatever. But now remembering that there's quite a lot of like environmental puzzles involving them, and kind of using them and moving them around and having them doing things. I really like them picking up like treasure and bringing to you.
Yeah, that is fine. I like how that fire propagated as well.
Yeah.
This game doesn't have multiplayer, does it?
I don't think so, no.
It seems like a bit of an obvious fit. Brutal Legend had that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Retrieve it for me.
Oh, there's literally halflings in this game. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Why is that? What is the camera doing?
Trying to show you more, I guess, because there's a thing on the left that you have to use, I guess.
Oh, I get it. I see it, but this is. What the? Oh, now I can control it, but it's zoomed out.
Killing innocents, and I use the term loosely, increases your corruption level. This attracts more evil energy, which increases your powers. However, This is rarely suitable for establishing a long-term evil plan. That requires people, living people. Gratitude comes with its own rewards.
I don't quite remember if there's how deep the system goes of like sparing peasants versus killing them, but it does imply that you're better off not killing the.
Yeah. That doesn't seem right for a game called Overlord. They should
Yeah.
be rewarding you for evil things.
I mean, I think you can pretty much do that, and it's fine.
I like how this grasp
Yeah.
pushes it out of the way. Very satisfying. No, he's just invincible. Oh. Thank goodness he just does.
Fine.
He just takes it.
Yeah.
Can I sick him on him? No.
No, but I'm sure
No.
you can kill him with your axe. Can you fireball him?
Nope. That's a shame.
No, I'm pretty sure if you use your axe, you'll kill him. There's no way they're invincible.
Well, how do I use my... Oh, just hold instead of tap.
This must be the work camp those peasants spoke of.
I'm trying.
So he doesn't use the axe. Huh. Maybe they meant that if they end up collateral damage, then that'll be kind of points against you, I guess, maybe.
This is an arcane blood pit, sire. You can sacrifice minions here to regain your own health.
But I have full health.
Yeah.
Your minions will gladly die for you. They're very loyal.
Thank you. Shortcut. Nice. So the levels in this game are largely linear courses.
Well, they're like this, right? You kind of like a light sandbox, I guess, with shortcuts and things to explore. You can definitely do side stuff, I remember, apart from your main mission, I guess.
Okay.
And I think there's also some replayability. You can come back to the previous areas and do new things as you get more minions, different spells and stuff like that.
Oh, I can't swim. Gotta find what, blue ones?
Yeah, so there's a perfect example of that. Once you get the blue ones, that you'll be able to probably do that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I do like that there is a, it could be beneficial to sacrifice your minions. I mean, beyond the writing, you want, if I can't kill random people, then you want some things that feel like you can justify being an evil overlord.
No,
So,
that part is weird. I think we just,
I mean, just in general, I'm looking for things that make me feel like I'm a bad guy, and sacrificing my own minions, that feels appropriate.
Yeah, they have a lot of like comedic, jovial evil doing for sure, and there's just part of that. Ooh,
I will say,
gremlins are getting destroyed.
Fine. Ah,
Minions can turn these and
no, I can't take the, I can't recover the methodist.
You can fight the halflings while the minions.
Yeah, but I can't cancel their
Yeah.
task. I wanted to take them off.
make sure you take
I will say that it is very easy to command and return your minions. They've kept the tasks simple. Whereas if this is a strategy game, I'd expect it to be, much more involved. Things that you need your units to do.
Well, even this encounter right there, you can either have the minions turn the thing while you fight the halflings, or you all fight the halflings, or there's options, right? That's the strategy part of this.
Yeah.
And it definitely gets more involved as you continue playing.
Thank you. And they'll never catch up with me. Obey, pumpkins.
What is this place?
I don't know.
I guess that's where you need to go. It's almost like it doesn't look like it's sandboxy, but you end up kind of playing these areas like that, right? Like it almost feels like they are meant to be like very linear, but they really aren't.
It feels a bit like a 3D platformer in
Yeah.
how the areas connect to each other, but you have this hub.
Yeah.
It's like in Mario, you go back to Peach's castle between levels.
Yeah, because obviously they need to have a way for you to replenish your minions, right? Because once they're dead, you can't revive them unless you get one of those summoning stones. So you need to be able to go back there and summon more of them. Obviously, you can fight yourself as well, but as the game progresses, I think as far as I remember, there's definitely some encounters and bosses that you will need your minions. You just can't solo.
So you would say that this game, and maybe its sequel, expansion, and stuff, it keeps the depth. It keeps new things coming in, keeps the experience fresh throughout.
Well, I wish I could answer that question like fully right now, because it's been so many years that I don't actually remember what Overlord 2, for example, brings to the table. I just remember it being, like in terms of aesthetics and humor and writing, it was really similar. It was a natural sequel, quite iterative, but that's what I wanted anyway. I really enjoyed the first game, so
It says something that you played this game and bought the sequel anyway.
yeah, it's man, one of the games that stayed with me, just so memorable. I think the second game, you can expect maybe like more varieties of goblins, stuff like that. I think I don't know if you're gonna get to this to it in this playthrough, but you also get like a mistress that you recruit in your castle.
Okay.
And
Did not expect that.
Yeah, like she's chilling at your throne. I don't remember how you get her the first time, and I don't remember if you can like upgrade her or get different ones, but you definitely get one. Oh, there you go. It was some sort of a boss fight, I guess. Hard to encounter.
Hurry! Hurry!
Wait, is he beating up the villagers?
Wait, the way he shuffles. Yeah. I thought I should spin the thing first. I don't know why.
What does that do?
It opened that door. Oh,
Oof.
AoE. Oh, he's not so bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't on my list of games to put on the podcast, but it would be interesting to have you play Brutal Legend. I think if you like Overlord, I could see that.
I've heard mixed things about that game throughout the years.
But I think it's because people weren't expecting. I mean, I pre-ordered that game. I bought it day one. And I was a bit disappointed, even though it's a good game. Just that the marketing wasn't. It didn't clue you in that it was a strategy game at all.
Yeah. I know Jack Black was involved, and I do like Jack Black. So
Yep.
at the very least, I would enjoy that.
I mean, the soundtrack is amazing. The licensed music that they have playing in it, and the writing is great as well because that's Tim Schafer writing. So, Double Fine games always have great writing. Great aesthetics as well. a bit like this, but it's kind of heavy metal fantasy themed. So a bit more, I'll just say quite memorable, quite unique.
Mm.
Let's go to Spree.
Okay. I feel like the good guy.
Yeah, you free the slaves. Maybe you can enslave them yourself later on.
Do I need to go to the tower?
Well, it's yeah, I don't know. It says to go to Spree, which is the next town. I guess you can do that.
Yeah. I don't get the impression that I've unlocked anything at the. I would think they would communicate it if I needed to go back, and I have something new waiting for me.
It's just like that in this game, the halflings are like the evil race.
I like that that I look like Sauron, and the first enemies that you kill are a bunch of hobbits.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm saying they're not evil. Like you're the evil, right? But they're like they're the ones that you're actually fighting.
Yeah.
Ooh, is that a weapon? This is one goblin just pushing that.
Oh, I won't pick it up. Maybe it's replenish a resource I already have.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I will say that these areas are looking a little samey. I thought maybe I was turned around there. It'd be nice if there was more distinction.
That's definitely something that this game has. And the second game I mentioned before, it's set in like during Christmas, so there's a lot of like snowy things and that kind of stuff.
Nice. Yeah, we were talking before the show. We were saying we've got a bunch of Halloween themed games, but how many Christmas themed games are there?
Yeah, I mean, Overlord 2 came up as an example for me, but I'll have to think about others that kind of had that.
I can think of two. I can think of Death Smiles 2, which I wouldn't have you play, and I'd already mentioned Christmas Nights into Dreams, which I might actually get you to play at some point. We shall see. Only if you can find something genuine that you genuinely want me to play that is Christmas themed, or not. I could just be dealing with the Christmas theme.
I'm sure I can find something.
It's gotta be something you would actually, even without the Christmas theme, that you'd really want me to play.
I think you're going back.
Yeah, see, I thought maybe I'd been turned around.
You have been, because I recognize that health replenishment thing.
Yep. Okay.
I guess this game could use a map, a compass, maybe.
Well, I think just if there were better landmarks. There's a lot of kind of narrow, twisty roads that all look similar. So that's both environment art, but it's also level design.
Oh yeah, I would put that on level design 100%. Like when making these kind of levels, you have to. The forest, especially, like forest is it's a problem often. Like you have to make sure the players know where they are and what's their next thing to go to, or at least have an idea where they're going.
I feel also that these windy paths with tree branches are not the best for the camera either.
They always seem better idea than they actually is.
Yeah, but this is I suppose Overlord is Triumph's one thing that isn't a top-down strategy game, right? So they probably had to figure out some of this stuff as they were going, which is cool. I mean, I like that they tried something different. I think it's funny that I guess they probably do well as strategy developers, and that I know about this game because it breached my sphere as someone who doesn't play a lot of strategy games.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where to go. You know what? I'm going to go back to the tower. Let's see. So it wasn't clear, but they got the crane.
Yes. Oh, right. Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Now we have the crane.
I don't know why what I did got them the crane, but
Well, it was
or how
you
it's-
because you put the you had your minions carry the crane into the portal, so now you have it.
okay.
You can fight almost anything you like down there, providing you've already defeated it once. Hail!
I love this guy.
Oh, there's a new guy there standing with an axe. Who's that?
So here's just like the tiniest example, right? My cursor is facing towards him, but when I attack where my character's facing. And
Yeah.
I feel like he should turn. Oh gosh, I can't even. He doesn't spin in place. You got to kind of actually maneuver him around to get around, and then I can hit him. Right.
Always a pleasure to have you around, Lord, but don't you think you should be elsewhere? You know, doing your job.
I don't like that sass. I
Restorer
don't like your
of the
tone.
Dark Tower.
This is cute though. I love when hubs change in games.
Yeah, this actually reminds me of Dragon Age Inquisition.
You know, I enjoyed upgrading my shopkeeper shops in Diablo 3 and seeing their shops just get bigger. It's just a satisfying thing, growing something, cultivating it.
So, I guess you didn't find the water goblins yet.
No.
Yeah. Yes, you have water, normal ones, fire, and then green.
So I'm assuming that these lead to other areas or something once I...
Yeah, I don't remember what they do. Either something to do with upgrading or managing your goblins, or yeah, maybe like a teleporter to different areas.
Salutations!
So is there
Savior of the
somewhere else I can go?
Just back to the slave camp.
But is that where I need to go, or is there something else I can do here?
Well, you need to get to the Spree town, but I'm not sure if you go there through the slave camp or through the meadows. Wait, what if you view the domain quest? What does that do? Look, get a mistress for your tower.
Get a mistress.
Can you click?
I've always
on...
wanted a mistress.
Can you
no,
click?
you can't. You teleport. Oh, okay. I think that's just objectives that I have to do in this world.
Ah, right, yeah.
So I just need to hunt. Hunt for a mistress. Yeah, I always thought it'd be so cool to have a mistress, but you know that they say nice guys finish last, right?
Yeah, you'll have a mistress.
But like, you know, a mistress that can sit next to you while you're on a throne.
Fine job, my lord.
Yeah, this looks a lot like Fable, this village.
Ah, it's nice to see folks enjoying themselves for a change. Quite a wild bunch, aren't they? Back home in Ruboria, I'm called Archibald Damius Methuselah Wobbleboard III, but folks around here just call me Archie. We've had some tough times. The halflings have ransacked most of the farms, and everyone's turned up in Spree on my doorstep. They voted me mayor. I got the drinks, yeah, but no food to feed them. Look, I really need some valiant knights to get us back the food the halflings stole from us. Their village lies to the east. I bet they're keeping it there. Go on. Full tummies for us equals fuller pockets for you, if you get my drift.
There you go. Beat more
Hey.
halflings.
Classic.
I guess you can consider this like village your kind of domain. So I guess you're still evil lord, but you kind of have to protect your, your property, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Are those the halflings? They're pretty close to the village.
I do wish there was. Well, I guess we did fight the troll. I think it'd be cool if the trolls were mixed in with other mobs to get you thinking a little more. See, I feel like all these enemies, I'm largely dealing with them in the same way. And I'd like to see some different kinds of units that get me thinking differently about how I want to deploy my minions.
Yeah, I remember, especially bosses later on in the game, and especially in the second game, you definitely get a lot more of. You can't just sick them on anything and just sit there. I mean, that would kind of get old really quick. I mean, this game could have had you just not be able to fight at all yourself, right? You would just sit there. That's one of the things I'm a big fan of Heroes of Might and Magic. And those games, I always hated that your hero couldn't actually fight himself apart from casting magic spells.
So what's the money used for?
I think it'll be used later for tower upgrades, stuff like that.
We should hurry up, sire. Don't want to miss it.
Oh, there's a troll there.
There we go. See, yeah, a troll, but now the halflings are throwing
Yes.
rocks at us. So do I focus the troll or do I get rid of the halflings?
It's a good question, Ian.
These are the things that I like to, this is where it gets interesting.
Well,
oh, they're all dead.
Yeah.
I definitely shouldn't have focused the troll.
Yeah.
Right, well. You want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. Oh, I can't jump down.
No, you have to face the troll.
Thank God he can't turn.
It's too fat.
Actually, might as well just grab my minions again from back up here. I'm not really. There's no real penalty for doing this, is there?
I guess when you can, there isn't. But I'll be surprised if this game doesn't block you off from doing that in certain situations.
Yeah, well, it kind of has to. Otherwise, you could kind of just whittle away at everything.
But yeah, in this case, you just go back and get more.
Yeah. I think this is the first time I've taken damage.
Yeah.
How do I get up there?
You have to smash through the gate?
Okay.
Probably.
Oh. Okay. Didn't realize it was breakable.
It's weird that hobbits.
They don't like this path thing.
No. It's weird that hobbits are hanging out with trolls.
What the?
Oh god, you broke them.
I'm just trying to. They want to regroup, but I'm not.
Seems that we won't be joining the party just yet.
There you go.
While they're busy,
Okay.
perhaps you should find out where those greedy devils have hidden Spree's food.
Yeah, so definitely some old game jackiness.
To feed your magnificent
Not a problem.
imposing presence in through their lord.
Is that a dungeon? No, halfling dungeon.
A big house.
Yeah.
Why the ceiling's so high? Because the camera, of course. But I know why. But
Yeah, this looks huge for halfling. I like how they open chests as well.
yeah, they got a lot of personality. Did you ever play The Darkness?
The FPS.
Yeah.
I've not played it myself, but I've watched a bunch of videos on that, and I don't know. It looked all right. The main character, the playable character, seemed a bit odd, but it also was a bit oddly gangster. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I like that game, and I guess these guys remind me of some of the darkness enemies that you can, or not enemies, friends that you can summon.
Oh,
I suppose that's a similar kind of thing where you're the quote unquote. Well, you're not really the bad guy, but you are harnessing the powers of evil to do good. I guess.
yeah, that game seemed more like more emo bad guy, not like whimsical bad guy.
It's not whimsical, but it's not super whimsical, but it does have fun with it.
Hmm.
I remember the darkness of these guys that you could summon, and he carried like a machine gun and had like a cigar, and he hated communists.
Okay.
So what is this? Okay, just decoration.
So was there? I guess they just didn't think too hard on that, but like it's weird to have a summoning portal for your minions in the halfling home.
Yeah, those fools. You know, if it wasn't for that summoning portal, I'd be beatable. But now I'm unstoppable.
It's interesting. Obviously, there's a different approach, but like you could say, well, the challenge here would be to make sure that your minions survive this entire dungeon in one run, right? But there's no way to heal them, at least not yet.
Yeah, it's a little feels a little limited, the economy.
You pick up gold, you could have been picking up maybe like health items for your goblins and stuff. I mean, the dream of in this is like being able to equip your goblins, be able to, have give them items to use. That would be, I mean, something for Overlord 3, I guess.
I'm sure adjusting the later levels have a much further distance from those pools, summoning pools, and that's one of the easiest ways that you can control difficulty or at least like penalty. But right now, it does make the combat feel a little like I can see the potential of the combat, but right now it feels a bit limited.
Yeah, it feels like at some point you'll run out of them, and you'll have to. So I guess maybe they did space it far enough, because right now there was one at the start, but I haven't seen one in a while.
But these levels, they sometimes loop back into themselves, so I'm sure I'll hit a shortcut.
Ooh, it's a nice bag of loot. Oh, do you have enough? You don't have enough.
I'm short.
Oh no.
Oh, there's the lobby. Come on.
You need 5.
I guess there is an audio cue when I summon them.
So that's the main objective here. So you have to go back and get more minions.
Oh shoot, yeah. Well, that's just a bit frustrating.
Yeah, I guess that's. But also, I guess it's one of that's the challenge, right? Like you still have to have enough to to do this task. So you have to like make sure you save some of them. But then it doesn't really tell you beforehand, right? So you end up getting there, and it's like, well.
And then you, slowly walking back isn't much of an interesting.
Oh, but this might be a shortcut, right?
Maybe this is opening up a path somewhere.
Well, if you jump down here, because
can I jump? I don't think I can jump.
Or just drop down. Ah, okay. Ah, that's. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Put a barrier, at least something there.
The Overlord of Evil defeated by a 4-foot drop. Classic. You know what? This is where I came in from. So I grab enemies from the pool, and then I might as well backtrack and open that up before I can continue. See, I do wish if they had moved that bag right up to here, right over this barrier, and then you could see right there that you need 5. Then as you're playing through, you could be thinking, I got to keep 5 on me.
Yeah.
They got helmets now.
It's always fun when you have games that have a bunch of minions or units, and they get like random equipment stuff that you don't even need to put down, just randomly assigned.
Yeah. Come on.
So do you need to now make them carry this all the way there? Oh, guess you do.
Interesting.
So are you controlling them now, or?
No, they're
Okay.
just doing it automatically.
Oh man, I guess, man, the team must have thought this is going to be a nightmare if we have players do that manually.
Yeah, you also can't stop them. You can't make them put it down. They're locked in. I noticed that with the with any of these support actions, like when the minions are attacking, you can withdraw them, but you can't make them stop while they're doing these kinds of support actions.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. See, I don't think that was food. I think it was just a big pile of money for my base.
Yeah.
Riveting. All right.
Well, I think we can pretty much wrap it up here. We've done about 45, 50 minutes. You've done pretty much the main loop of the game. You go on these, I guess, quests, explore some of the sandbox, go to these dungeons, get loot and upgrade your tower, get more goblins, and that's the game, Overlord.
I can see, I feel like my thoughts on it so far, like, I wish there was more stuff that got me thinking, got me making interesting decisions. But I could see how, as you continue further through the game, that stuff could pile on. More interesting unit types, minions that you can summon in, more interesting enemies and combinations of enemies that could have me thinking about how I'm positioning myself and how I'm positioning my minions, what enemies to focus on first, that kind of thing. I want to see more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this game definitely strives for that, if nothing else. And even in this first hour, there's already stuff that I personally didn't even remember, like more than just combat, right? Having to manage where you send them, these kind of like light traversal puzzles. So, and it gets better from there.
And it's got a lot of personality too. I think it's really cool too that the Triumph reached out and tried this kind of stuff.
Cool. That was Overlord. Ian, let's talk about games we're going to be playing next time.
Ooh, next time. Okay. What are you thinking?
Well, because I've seen news of that game getting a remake or remaster, it's a bit confusing. We'll talk about it next time. But for that occasion, next time I'll be having you play Lollipop Chainsaw.
Lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop. Boom, 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 boom. Lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop.
Ooh, Lollipop Chainsaw. Okay. I'm going to have you play Thief the Dark Project.
Hey, who's there? Probably just a critter.
I need help here! Sound the
somewhere. I guess it was nothing, eh?
Okay. Yeah, I have not played that.
Should be really interesting.
All right. We'll wrap up this here, and we'll see you guys the next episode.
Yeah, look forward to the next one.
See ya.
Perfect.